listening to the 123 show with me, Noreen Mayer, this Thursday afternoon. Now, let's turn to our first guest and topic of today. In the next 20 minutes or so, you will hear about the Giftadeed app. This app has been hailed by the United Nations as tech for good, and I'm delighted to welcome the founder and the designer of the app, Noreen Arjun Soni. Welcome to the program, Noreen, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Noreen. It's a pleasure.
So give us the background. So what inspired you to... Okay, no, first of all, tell us about the app.
Okay, thank you.
So many stories to share.
Yes, thank you. So the app is a humanitarian tool, I call it. It's like a toolbox, and it's got different tools for different people in different places. And you may not use all the tools. You may just use one tool. But basically, there are 800 million people living, suffering below poverty line, extreme poverty, below $2. Then there are people who are in distress, anytime, anywhere. And what if you could be the person around to help them, either people who are in distress or people who need basic things in life? And not every person is lucky to be in a city or a country like Hong Kong, Singapore, or even countries which have good social security network. So they are the mercy of neighbors, they're the mercy of the community, they're the mercy of their own upbringing, rather. So the app allows anywhere, literally. The tagline is do a good deed by gifting a need, but it's basically a platform where you can do a good deed and help anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
One deed at a time.
We want you to meet Noreen as well. You can go onto the Facebook page, Noreen Mayer on RTHK Radio 3. You'll be able to see and also hear the interview there as well, along with our RTHK Radio 3 homepage online or on the radio as well. So how does it work exactly then? Say there's a problem elsewhere in Chengdu in China. Sure. or in Hong Kong. How does it work exactly? How does it connect me to somebody who needs my help?
Sure. So there are three different uses of the app, or it could be used. The first use is for in your neighborhood, for helping those who are lacking basic necessities of food, water, clothes, shelter, medical help. And if you are a lucky one at a home, at an office, an organization where you got access to share, it allows people on a common platform to see the needs around them on a geolocation map, and it's very easy to use. Simply just pressing a button, as simple as calling a Ola cab or Uber or any other taxi service around the world. It's geolocation, so you open the app in a Google map and you can see pins around you, and each pin is an icon of a picture of a need. So there is a food sign, a burger sign. For a need for water is a glass of water, a need for clothes is a t-shirt sign, need for medical help is a heart sign, a need for mental health or other, somebody in depression or anxiety is a mind sign. Need for SOS or distress is a SOS sign. So simple logical signatures, and people know then there are the specific needs, and they can find them easily using the GPS location of their phone. So this is the first people-to-people giving directly without depending on charities. I mean, I say charities do good work, and we're not trying to replace them, but it's an added tool even charities can use. The second thing is about helping charities, helping humanitarian organizations who are already doing good but become efficient. So whether it is distributing food, which a lot of charities are doing, feeding Hong Kong or other ones, or if there is a humanitarian crisis, let's say there is an earthquake, a tsunami, flooding, or any other such bad thing, how do you ensure that all the rescue agencies which come to rescue, they find the same common picture of the ground? Currently there is nothing, and each agency has to depend on their own network, supply chain, as a result of which they all work in silos. So what does that lead to? That leads to gaps in helping people who are stuck. That leads to duplication of resources, because some people who are already being helped, they'll get more things just because they're easy to connect. So this allows in a place, in a geolocation environment which has been hit by a humanitarian crisis, for different agencies in a secure environment to see each other's resources also. It has a resource button, and what it does is simply puts the tag on when the need is there, and any volunteer from any humanitarian agency who's been already trusted into the network, they can tag this, and when the help is arrived on that geolocation, just like a taxi, the need is removed. So it can be seen by all agencies, and they don't waste time going to the same area where help is arrived. And if they miss out some area, that area is tagged and they can go there. So that's the second channel. So what are the people to people? Second is organizations to organizations. And the third one is for the distress, or again, it's a humanitarian need of safety. We are very lucky being in India, being in Hong Kong, but I come from India, and the other cities in the world, other countries in the world, where it's not so safe. And what if you get stuck in an emergency, and what if you're the person trying to help, but you get yourself in emergency, or simply a person has an accident, right? How do you ensure that everybody who's supposed to know, especially after a disaster when the time is less, or in an emergency when your time is less, maybe your battery is dying, maybe it's a hostage situation, you can't make a call. So we've added a feature where you can send a SOS from your phone through the app by just pressing on 2-3 buttons. And what it does is just takes a picture of you. It takes your GPS location, and it quickly gives you a drop-down list of what kind of emergency you're in. And it sends that as a message through your phone to 3 numbers, which are being prefed into your phone, into your app when you download the app. And those 3 numbers could be emergency services, your friends and your families, your near ones. In addition to all this, it drops an SOS icon on the location. So what it really does is, even after that your battery dies, or phone is taken away, or phone is not there anymore, everybody knows, who's supposed to know, where you are, what kind of condition you're in, what kind of emergency you're in, and they can find you easily. So that's the third channel of helping others,
others and helping yourself as well. So where did this idea come from, Naveen?
So I actually say this. I've been at sea. I've been a seafarer. I've been in the merchant marines. I was the first officer for more than 10 years. And this concept is very simple and is being used on all the ships already. There's a device on ships which have been there for decades called EPIRB, which is Emergency Position Indicating Radio Beacon, which basically floats away from the ship as soon as the ship sinks. It's a life-saving device, and it sends through the satellite a signal of SOS, where it shows the position of the ship through GPS, and all agencies, humanitarian rescue agencies, Navy, Coast Guard, they can find where the ship went down, right? Now, it's the same concept. Once apps have come in and phones are there, it's pretty simple, right? The other, but that's the basic technology. But the idea came from a video game which became rave 2 years back, called Pokemon Go.
Brilliant.
So I have a technology background as well. And when I first saw Pokemon Go, of course, the 3D, the augmented reality is pretty cool. But when I first saw people going crazy, and people falling from cliffs and coming in front of cars for capturing these cat and mouse and dragons. And I asked myself, what is the use of this, right? How can this be useful apart from the technology, right? What is the use of... So then I realized what it does basically is you capture these characters and you get rewarded by points. I said, great. What if you can help somebody and then you get points? Then you gamify charity. That's the idea it triggered. And then I called a friend who's a dear friend of mine in India, who's a technology guy, and then we discussed, and then he put me in touch with a team in India, a young team of app developers who basically brainstormed with me for a few months before they came up with this design, where we said, what if you can put a need icon anywhere anybody can put when they're in need, and what if you can help by going there physically and removing the need once you've given or helped, and then you get points. And this is what the app does. So when you go and so the app has two users. One set are called taggers, one set are called fulfillers. And the app depends on crowdsourcing of needs and crowdsourcing of, that's a public to public open source kind of a thing, where anybody can tag any need anywhere in the city. And as soon as you tag a need, you can tag by just the GPS location of your phone, optional of taking a picture, you get points. Right, and there's a dashboard of top taggers, top fulfillers in the city, and it's gamifying needs identification. Then the other side are people who are in the neighborhood, in a community, who want to help, and maybe they don't have time to go and do a volunteer work in a charity, but they just want to share their cup of coffee or excess food they have in the kitchen or their wardrobe. The second-hand clothes in a wardrobe are not torn; they're out of shape, out of size, out of color or design, and we throw them, right? What if you could use that and help somebody who needs that, and you don't have time for anything else? So you can just go onto the app, and somebody has tagged somebody for food or clothes in the neighborhood, and you open the app, suddenly 300 meters somebody needs food or clothes, and you open your wardrobe, take a cup of coffee or food, and go there yourself and give it. And you've done a good deed. You help the environment by recycling things. You've gone and helped someone who was in extreme need, and you've created happiness for yourself. Because at the end of the day, my research, my study, or my own, experience show that I went on to search for happiness, and I found all the literature, scientific studies, and my own experience saying happiness is in helping others. And this is an app simply to spread happiness, nothing else.
Absolutely, you're right, Naveen. And a lot of people say, it's feeling gratitude, but studies have also shown that if you write down what things that you're grateful for compared to things that you've done to help other people, that list actually far outweighs the gratitude list. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges. Now, it sounds great in theory. You have a need, I have some goods, I can gift you a deed. But what sorts of challenges have you encountered?
Sure.
You've soft launched it in Hong Kong and in India as well.
Yes.
What have you found?
It's been a journey. Thank you. It's been a journey so far, Noreen, because I thought my impression, and it's been learning every day. I learn new things, and my first impression was when I give this technology to any humanitarian organization or to a charity, they'll be thrilled, because I still do some volunteer work with one of the charities here, where we distribute food to the homeless. And my experience shows in Hong Kong it's very difficult to find poor people. Because they are usually in public parks, open spaces, in public toilets, and then they're hidden from the people. So coming back to your question, I thought this was easy once I bring it across. But that's the challenge, because to convince charities and to convince humanitarian organizations that you're doing this for genuine reason and not for collecting data, not for making another WhatsApp kind of a purchase, it's a true humanitarian organization or is a true humanitarian app. That has been challenge. About 8 or 10 months back, I participated in a fintech pitch competition in Hong Kong. And it was quite funny because I was standing on the stage with a 3-minute pitch, and there were judges and there were 200 people, and the guy before me presented drones which could see cracks on a building, right? And I am talking of a humanitarian app, and everybody had their mouth open like, oh, this guy's crazy, right? And like no commercial angle, just simple humanitarian help. But I did that purposely because I wanted to know. I mean, all my friends I have a good community of friends all over the world, and they all encourage me, and I'm really appreciative. But I really wanted to know how people would take it, and I thought this is the best way to put myself in the fire, right? It was not easy, but
this guy's genuine.
but all the questions I got from that 3-minute pitch were very helpful. Because people asked me questions which made me then go back to my drawing board and think, how am I going to tackle this problem? And one of the challenges was, how do you ensure people don't fake needs? How do you ensure what people are giving are genuine things and not bad things? How do you ensure it's not misused? So all those questions, so those are the challenge. And but I'm happy to say that I have found peace to myself by finding some solution, and at the same time being very clear. So I call it a humanitarian app for that reason.
Are you worried you can't verify all the genuine needs then? I mean, if it's a peer-to-peer, if I say, oh, I need some new clothes, but actually I don't, how do you verify
Yeah,
that?
sure. So app has a reporting tool where you can report a user or a deed which is not genuine or which is not good, which is you can report it and it can be taken away. But the essence of the app, Noreen, is the same essence where you're walking on the road and you find a child fall down or a person suffer an accident. And what you do as a humanitarian person, you would take out your handkerchief, you would lift the child, you would try to clear up the dust, you would put if it is bleeding, you would put the handkerchief to stop the bleeding, right? That's humanitarian help. You won't think that time what will happen if you can't help. When there is a tsunami or earthquake or any disaster, the Coast Guard, the Navy, all the emergency services, they go to help in a disaster zone, not thinking, what if things go wrong? When charities do work, they go and give things. Sometimes they give to people who may have food already, but you don't check, right? So it's got the same kind of a thinking where you're doing a humanitarian work. Coming back on the question of whether the needs are genuine, and well, the app thinks, or what we think, is if a person tags himself or herself for food, but they have money and food in the fridge already, so be it. At the end of the day, they are not asking for money. They're asking for food, which somebody will give once it is excess. If they're hungry, they will get it.
Yeah.
They should get it. And if somebody's thirsty for water, they can afford water, but still they want water, so be it. If somebody tags himself or herself for clothes and they have clothes, but they still want it, so be it. I mean, we are living in I guess, in this give and take environment where we always quantify in terms of money, but this is not the idea. The idea is humanitarian help.
Yeah. Naveen, remind our listeners once again, I wish we could talk for longer. We're coming to the end of the interview. Remind our listeners once again how they can find out more about your app. Have you got a website and a Facebook page that they can find out more?
So we have a Facebook page. We have a website. Website is www.giftadeed.com, GIFTADED.com. We got a video on that when you open the page, English video. We got the video converted into 9 languages, including Cantonese, Spanish, Mandarin, Spanish, Portuguese, and Indian languages as well. We're doing more conversions. I mean, that's all we can do. The app has a contact us page. We are reaching out to all humanitarian organizations, charities, volunteer organizations, Samaritans, anybody who wants to help. And they want to use the app. They can use it. It's free. It'll remain free forever. There are no data gathering. All data is deleted every 24 hours automatically. We are even talking to charities to even put the data on their servers. That means we don't even collect the data. So it's just a pure tool, as I said.
Naveen Arjun Soni, thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to chatting with you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noreen. It's been a pleasure.
RTHK News.